Hi, everybody. So, Kelly and I are here together. We're going to talk about the new moon. There's so much going on, you guys, and this is going to push it over the top. So, we're very excited. And how are you feeling?
I'm doing okay. I'm like there's an exhaustion inside me, but I'm recognizing that and just it's also changing my pace a bit. So I'm just relaxing into it and letting the day flow and keeping my schedule as light as possible.
That's good.
So that's kind of how I'm managing it. And when I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping, and when I'm not, I'm not. And I'm not sleeping at my. I could have had another little section this morning, but I didn't. So,
Yeah, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, I've noticed. And we just let go of so much gunk, like there's so much that just has kind of hollowed out the body. So you
oh,
will re-energize, I think, as more pieces of you come in because you just made a bunch of room and a lot of us did that. So it's like letting go of old stuff that we don't need. And it's usually subconscious stuff that we're not even really aware of right now.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
but I'm super excited because Mother Earth, which is reflected in the moon, so that's the cycle. It's
yeah.
actually Mother Earth cycle, but all of her brothers and sister planets are helping her move faster. And I'm really excited because there's some big things happening right now.
Yes, there
Yeah.
are. Yes. So, let me show the new moon, and I will then proceed to interpret.
Okay.
Okay, there we are. So this is a new moon on, well, Thursday, depending on where you are. It's on the East Coast. It's 3:11 p.m. So this is July 24th. I kept mixing up August and July, but this is still July, just
Yes.
if you're
We're
wondering.
still in July.
Yes, but we are in sun sign Leo now.
Yeah.
So there we are, and I am showing you right here the new moon very early on in Leo at 2 degrees. So that's the new moon is the sun and moon combined, and they're starting a new cycle that involves a full moon and then back to the new moon again.
Mhm.
So, as we've been doing this, honey, we've seen a lot of pretty dramatic lunations this year. And the last one was kind of a little calmer, but this one is ramping it up again, like you said, because it's opposite. The new moon is opposite, very closely opposite the planet Pluto, the god of death and rebirth. So we are letting go for sure. You know,
Okay.
so this is one of the big features of this. It's highlighting Pluto and how things are, I like the word you've been using, crumbling.
Yes, they are crumbling. It's like a demolition is
Yeah.
happening right now. Yeah.
Pluto's the demolition planet. Yes.
Mhm.
And so first of all, I want to share show you, point out this image I chose because I was looking for a goddess that rides the lion. And this is Durga, who rides a tiger sometimes and sometimes a lion. And here she is on the lion, riding the lion. And I love Durga as one of the really powerful Hindu goddesses. She was here. I think I can show you this next one. Yeah, there she is. This is a classic, kind of a portrait of Durga. And she was formed when this really nasty demon had been given special powers because he had done so much meditation, but he was a demon and the gods could not overcome him. They would all try, and there was no way they could vanquish this demon. So they decided to all put their powers into a pool, and
Uh-huh.
Dora was born out of that pool of the powers of all the gods.
Mm,
And I think they were male gods. I'm not sure they were all male gods, but I think that this is an illustration of the divine masculine really appreciating the power of the divine feminine.
yeah.
And she got on that lion with all of her weapons and all of her tools, and she was having a great time battling this demon and did overcome him. And I guess the lion took a bite too. So now, so if we're looking at Leo here, and Leo is the lion, so it's the courage of the lion-hearted. It's about full self-expression, no fear, a fearless being who you are, which
Mhm.
is about personal sovereignty. You know, you are queen of your being, you are king of yourself, you are your self-sovereignty is a spiritual power. Let us put it that way.
Mhm.
So that's one thing we've been sort of aspiring toward and building within ourselves is this architecture of the self-sovereignty of being able to take on the authority and authenticity of our own lives.
Mhm.
So that's part of the Leo. That's part of expressing oneself, one's capital S self. So one's higher self, one's true self, one's essence, and being fearless about it.
Mhm.
Um, so this is also about the inherent power of being creative. And here we are at this point where we're being called to create,
Yeah.
the new world, the new earth, and work with the earth to do so. So, and it's also about Leo rules the heart, and it also can rule the back in terms of willpower. And
Mhm.
this is divine will. This is not self-will. This is not being willful. This is being willing. So this is love that overcomes fear
Mhm.
and negativity and the demonic forces, so to speak. And this is, where we find them in ourselves too, when shadows come up or when we're triggered or when something is going on and we're getting some kind of reflection back from our outer experience, being it from another person or the circumstances in our lives. And so part of this is, well, how do we respond? How do we take responsibility for our experience and not and create and recreate from the heart space? So that's a lot about what this new moon cycle is about.
Mhm.
And we are definitely having some shadow energies with the Pluto opposite. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I also wanted to point out this pattern that's a very powerful pattern. The Leo is a fire sign. And this is a triangle which is connecting up energies in all of the fire signs. And particularly, this new moon is very closely aligned. And I've said this before, but I want to remind you that the closer the numbers are, like this is 2 degrees of Leo.
Mhm.
Here's Neptune at 2 degrees of Aries and Saturn at 1 degree. And this is the black moon at 1 degree. So we have a very tight, very close, very almost precise triangle of fire signs that are like that, are the spirit, are the fire, are the vitality, are the motivation.
Mhm.
And all of these factors contribute to that, to the new moon energy of this Leo new moon. So we have this combination that is so new
Mhm.
since just March, April, May. and it's in Aries. It's like fresh start. It's like pioneering. It's like we're on a new path. We're
Mhm.
stepping onto a bridge. We're going somewhere we've never been before.
Yeah,
That certainly takes courage of heart.
it really does. So I have to say something about the picture. Now, when I think of Trump, and I'm only going to say his name once, when I think of him, I think of the lion, and that's been represented a lot. And think about his hairdo, you guys. Okay. So he is representing courage, he's representing the lion. And think about women in general. So a lot of women have taken on masculine souls right now. And if you
Oh,
think about the woman's brain versus the man's brain, men are single focused. They can really do things really, really well that they are focused on. But if you bother them, then they get knocked off focus. Women are basically three focus at once. So they have the multitasking brain and it's built in. So a lot of masculine souls came into female bodies for this learning game and for ascension so that they would have both aspects really strongly represented and they would have a brain that they could wake up faster, which is
oh,
why the women have led the charge for this awakening. So when you combine these two things, and then you see what they're going to do, what they're doing. They're getting rid of the old, getting rid of the broken, the distorted, the demons, right?
yeah,
All of that is coming together in this moment that we're in. So to me, it's like super cool. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Saturn is about focus,
Mhm.
and Neptune is about the everything and the clarity, the crystal clarity. And Aries is the new sign, and Aries is rules the brain. And this is about new neural pathways. This is about how brain science is teaching us. I was just listening to a talk yesterday about the microtubules in
Oh,
the
yeah.
mitochondria of the brain that create through the water this radiant super radiance. It's like, and that can affect memory and it can affect changing our minds, evolving our minds. I mean, this is so exciting, all this stuff. And
Yeah.
so Saturn is like, let's get this together. Let's focus this energy, this vibrational frequency, stay at the highest vibe you can. Now, these planets both are retrograde now. They're like, okay, we got as far as we're getting right now. So just focus and maintain the highest frequency you've gotten to yet and stay with that. Don't let anything drop you down because there's a lot of confrontational energy that can be happening from Pluto, which is part of the shadow, but also the the recreative energy of the divine masculine in a
Mhm.
way. And that so when a shadow emerges right away, what is this teaching me? How do I move through this? How do I let this go? But Neptune can want to ignore, like, okay, that's not happening. So Saturn says you got to deal with this,
Yep.
and we're getting some time through the rest of this year for Saturn and Neptune to kind of, for us to help get to the highest frequency we can handle and hold clearly at the moment. So
Yep.
this moon cycle is going to bring some stuff up that could be getting in the way. And here is Black Moon. Now, Black Moon is rather like Durga in the sense that it's a very potent aspect or essence of the divine feminine that
Hmm.
holds a core creativity. and is a soul-based essence. It's not part of the ego that we is constructed after we're born, which sometimes Leo can fall into. So to some extent, our egos are going to be like, kind of busted. And
Yeah.
Lilith, often this black moon is called Lilith, and she is such an ego buster. But I've started to equate the black moon more with Durga than Lilith.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the mythic history of it all.
Well, and
So
oh, go ahead.
no. What did you want to say?
Well, I want to just say that right now, what we're seeing the culmination of the courage and the feminine. And what's going to be happening is then the masculine is going to come in and have their massive awakening.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of men that are already awake, and that's because they're in touch with their divine feminine.
Hmm.
And they're going to come into their massive awakening. And this is just what my higher self is saying right now. And as that happens, then the balance will shift and
Oh.
we will become balanced again as masculine and feminine
Mm,
beings.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So it's really a beautiful time.
Yes. Well, this is, deep soul essence, this soul mysteries. And, we're looking at this lion energy, and you mentioned Trump, and he has Leo rising. He has Mars on his Leo ascendant. He is like the roar of the male lion,
Yeah.
and that's there it is. So, one beautiful thing about Leo is when Leo is self-confident and really loving oneself and really, kind of self-assured and clear, can be so honoring of another person's individuality, can really appreciate that person for who they are and really make a warm personal connection. Leo is a fire sign, so it's warm-hearted, you know, um, but it can also be, really self-confident. And sometimes it can seem pushy because the the self-presentation is so strong. It can seem like ego, but you got to see what's behind that. And we all have to deal with our ego. We just have to focus it properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got
Yeah.
one more. Go ahead. Okay, so
Well, I love the sovereignty of everything. And Aries is like absolutely sovereign too.
yep, yep. Aries is like I got to be who I am. I would accommodate you if I could, but I can't because I am me and this is me and I'm clear and this is where I stand. So it's self-centered in a proper way. But
Right.
fire signs can often be considered selfish because sometimes they are. There's a self-orientation that is actually an essential aspect of our spiritual growth, because we have to self-awaken, you
Yeah.
know. So this moon is really bringing that up. And one more part of the black moon in Sagittarius is the truth speaker. This
Mhm.
is truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth kind of energy, but it's soul truth. It's deep, deep. This is a very deep moon, It's looking right at Pluto, the god of the underworld. And is that what I'm showing next? Let's see. Oh, here are just a couple of notes. So, Mercury is in Leo also, and Mercury's retrograde. People like to know when Mercury is retrograde because they can always blame something on it. But it's also Mercury stopped and said, okay, how are you thinking about it? What is your perspective on things? How, and it's an informational energy. And how are you expressing yourself? What words are you using? Are you using loving words? Or are you being hard on yourself too?
Mhm.
So it's like, how are you expressing that because sometimes creativity can't be encompassed in words. There's a fuller essence of being that needs to show up fearlessly. And, we don't need to be afraid now. This is that sovereignty. I'm standing up for, well, the
Mhm.
truth, for love. What are you standing up for? So there's time to kind of rethink things, kind of work through things, go back over what's been happening, get clear about where we're at with that, getting more vigilant in terms when we're dropping down our frequency and how do we pick it up. So we're getting, to kind of go back over some things. Pluto's
Yeah.
retrograde as well. So it's
Mhm.
also saying we've gotten as far as we're going to get, and let's just, kind of see where we're at and um, um, see how that's affecting how the collective transformation of consciousness is affecting you in your life and making it more personal right now.
Yeah.
Because we're all part of this, we're all contributing to the transformation of the collective consciousness. So, so we've had Pluto change sign, we had Neptune change sign, and Saturn change sign, and we just had Uranus change sign. So to me, these planets that just went retrograde are stepping back and giving Uranus the floor. Okay, do your thing, Uranus. And
Mhm.
it went into Gemini. That's another sign of perception and mental frameworks, or I'm not sure framework is exactly the right word, but it can flip switches really easy. Gemini can. It's like it can be all positive and then phew, that shadow side comes out or the dark side comes out and then you have to like integrate that and it's so this is a lot of information coming out. And it's not exactly new information necessarily because Mercury's retrograde. Hey, people, this is what's been happening. This is what happened before. You know, now, what do you think about it? And that's the question. What are you thinking about it? How are you thinking? And
Yeah.
there's variety here. Uranus says we can change that. We can change our perception. We can change how we're thinking about things. And it looks like we're going to have to do that.
Yeah. I totally see that happening. And it's because it's going to be on the news and it's already started to be on the news and not just one channel. So all of this stuff is coming out and it's going to come out like a freight train. It feels like all this information, and all of us already know this information. So we're excited that it's happening. It's something we've been asking for a really long time, and now it's going, it's happening, and we know what's on the other side of it. So I'm concentrating on what's on the other side of it, but I am laughing as I watch a lot of this stuff because it's so over the top and so exaggerated, and it needs to be for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have to hear it. Or
Yeah,
and also, so Gemini is like that old game we would play called telephone, and you'd whisper something in somebody's ear and they would whisper it, and then by the time you get to the end, it's a completely different story.
right.
So there's also misinformation coming out,
Mhm.
and there's um so we've got Sedna here. Sedna is the goddess of the deep sea, the deep, dark sea. So she is very deep. She's deeper than Pluto is in space, even.
Yeah,
Pluto takes 248 years to go around the sun. Sedna takes 11 or 12,000 years to go around the sun. So she's much further out, much at a deeper level of consciousness and way hidden in some of our traumas, some of our hidden history, some of and Uranus is like waking her up. Uranus is like, Okay, the whales are surfacing. Okay, volcanoes are erupting under the ocean. What else is going to show up? What else is going to surprise us? Uranus is about surprises. It's shocking. It's like, whoa, never would have thought of this. Like lightning bolt out of the blue. And it is a fast-paced sign. Gemini goes really quick. It's like one of those races where you hand off the baton and they go on, and there's a lot of action here. And this is like, any direction you look in, there's new information coming out, that kind of thing. So we have to like not go crazy with it. We have
Mhm.
to come back deep into ourselves and say, what what is useful for me to be engaged with right now. And that brings us back to the Aries planets, to stay clear with myself. What do I need to focus on to be able to move forward in a way that works for me? What do I need to, kind of think about, work with? And sometimes that's just about being very still and quiet
Mhm.
and taking a nap or meditating or whatever.
Yeah. The stillness is really important right now too, because we don't need to be engaged with all of this stuff. Just let it happen, let it unfold, be excited, and basically go ahead and take a nap. I mean, we're way ahead of
Mm.
this stuff. You just want to let it happen so that we can move forward with the new stuff and start thinking about that and how this is all behind us at this point, because it's been behind us for a long time. We're just seeing it right now because there's certain people that need to still see it. And also, it has to be seen in order for it to crumble.
Yes. And so it's like the let's call people who are kind of ahead of the game, the wagon train scouts who have been ahead
Mhm.
of the main, wagon
Yeah.
train. There's we have to maintain that here's where I'm at. I don't have to go back and deal with that.
Mm-mm.
I don't, maybe somebody needs to, your help with discussing things, because Uranus is about entertaining all points of view. And
Yeah.
it's about being open-minded to new information and to other people's points of view. But there's Sedna, say you don't have to be, kind of on the surface with all the choppy waters. You can go way down deep and find that stillness and find that she regenerates. She
Yeah.
creates from her body parts, all the sea creatures. She is there um in the deepest, darkest waters. So she's very profound, Sedna is. Yeah.
We're really excited about this. Yes. It's
So yeah. Yeah, it's this is a very well, Leo is a sign of drama. So let's
mhm.
appreciate the drama too. And part of your question is, what is my role? And can I change my role? Because Mercury's retrograde. It's like, you already did that. Try
Yeah.
something else that's going to stimulate your creative process and bring you more of the creative joy of, what you can create. There are options here. So here's Sedna, a couple of images from the Inuit people, showing her, deep water energy and the sea creature connection that she has. So yeah, there's
Beautiful.
Sedna. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another pattern there's two more patterns I want to share. This is one of them. So this is the new moon, opposite Pluto, as I said. Now, Pluto's in Aquarius, so, it just went into Aquarius finally last November, whereas had been changing sign for a couple of years, and now it's fully in Aquarius until 2044 or something. So we've got a couple of decades with this. And this particular new moon is grabbing onto Pluto and saying, okay, the sky is falling. Let's, the crumble is getting dramatic here.
Yeah.
And also, Leo is a sign of leadership. It's about kings and queens, and
Hmm.
um, we're all royal. We're all royal in our sovereignty. But what about some of these leaders? What about Pluto exposing corruption? What about, nobody's above the law, so to say? So
Hmm.
there's a part of this. And again, always bring it back to where am I coming from? Because we can, get easily entangled with this collective darkness if we aren't being vigilant and keeping our energy field really clear and dealing with our own stuff when it comes up. Like you said, there's a lot of subconscious stuff coming up. And, we don't have to like dance with it for too long, do
Right.
a little martial arts and just let it go by. So, so this is the Pluto aspect. Which, if we're going to refer to, which I've been studying more about Hindu gods and goddesses, Pluto is like the Shiva equivalent, and Shiva is one of the highest of the divine masculine. He can go off into the Himalayas and meditate in a cave for centuries, and he's pure.
Yeah.
So, and he's about the stillness, and the divine feminine dances around, but that stillness is always there.
Hmm.
So we have this other focus point here that is part of the dynamic. This is an activation. These are activated dynamics, and this is Haumea. She's the Hawaiian goddess of childbirth, and she has a lot to do with the sea, with the land, with the fertility of the earth. And also, once she gives birth, she renews herself. So there's this renewal energy, this rebirthing energy that Pluto has, but how Maya is activating it on another level. And in the past, I've talked about this as Pluto like the wave going out, but Haumea like the new wave coming in over that undertow. So Haumea is birthing, and she has been interacting with Pluto for several years now in a powerful way. And she's in Scorpio. So this is the passion and intensity of the erotic charge of life. The desire that brings creativity into being. And so here she is in Scorpio working with Pluto, saying, you crumble it down, and I'm going to rebuild on the ashes. I'm going to take this and make it into something else. This is very alchemical.
Hmm.
So she's very much a part of this. And a lot of these Kuiper Belt objects, they're, and even to call them objects is not the thing because they're living energies.
Right.
All of the cosmic celestial uh, family, we're all in this together. And how Maya is just these Kuiper Belt energies are recently discovered just in the new millennium. And I had a person I was talking with, and she said, I was trying to figure out what these energies are. And she said, right as I was asking myself that question, a truck went by with the big word angels on it. So there's the universe talking to you. So
Oh
these are
yeah.
kind of angelic forces and part of the engaged energy, not only of angels on high, but angels, deep in the water.
Mm.
These regenerative forces that are very deep inside us as well. So we're tapping into a very deep level of our subatomics and our DNA and our energy field, the fields of energy. But this really focuses on the water and the regenerative aspects of water.
Love it.
Yeah. So this is a very dynamic, and as I just said, Haumea and Pluto have been working together for a couple of years as they're both changing sign at the same time. And this Leo new moon is picking up on that and saying, all right, we're taking this energy and we're going to create with it. We're really going to light up the world. So, and some of that is the drama,
Yes.
is the play, you know. So, it's coming to what is the there's usually the act.
Crescendo.
Yes, the crescendo.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in it for sure.
Yeah. So the other oh wait, what do I got here? Yeah, here's the other pattern I wanted to show you. So this is the nodes of the moon or the dragon tail. Oops, I did them opposite. Well, that's all right because they're always interacting, but this is the tail and this is the head. So that's so funny. I did that. So because they're always interacting. But
Mm-hmm.
the tail is what what's a given, we're bringing, what is coming through, and then we use that energy to get to the dragon head. So Mars right now, which is the masculine energy, is pretty much right on the dragon tail and has been for the last several weeks. So this is Virgo. This is earth energy. This is the um I was going to say the living earth, but earth is living. It's more about the nature and
Yeah.
about our bodies as part of nature and the earth's body. And we're drawing energy from this. And it's activated now because Mars is about activation. And it's about listening to our body. Virgo is the sign that listens to the body, picking up on the clues. Where's the tension? What does that mean? What do I have to let go of? How do I smooth it out? Um, you know, what do I need to be doing right now? And what are my priorities at this point? And that's one of Virgo's regular exercises to reprioritize where my energy is going, what I'm doing. This is all Mars stuff. What I want, what's appropriate, what's
Mhm.
the best response to what's going on right now, right here.
Yeah.
So,
So that's like the new. What are we shifting? What are we changing? Yeah.
yes,
Love
and in the moment, what is going on in the moment that is asking for a response and us to do something. And what's the best thing we can do, you know? Without being self-critical about it, but what are we perceiving as like the best thing? If you're a little stressed out and and kind of overamped, just being still, sitting down, having some healthy herbal tea. You don't need more caffeine if you're overamped. So this is listening to your body and going outside and grounding and improving the see, because Virgo is very particular, it's very sensitive,
it.
and it has a really good taste. It's like
Yes.
this this is the best. This is the best right here. I heard you and Lisa from Italy talking about fibers and textiles and the energy of fibers and yeah, what's helpful to your body? What
Yeah.
is organic in a way that supports your well-being and your health?
Mm-hmm.
So
Love.
that's the Virgo. That's what we're counting on. It's a given as long as we're listening. And not being critical, not being too picky or fussy, which Virgo can do. And people born in the 60s, late 50s into the 60s can be very obsessive about perfection. And it's like, live the moment the best you can. And Pisces is the North Node. It's like, what the vibe is that's going to help us. And this is de-stressing. This is the forgiveness. This is compassion. This is like taking it easy. Let go of that perfectionism and that workaholic side and that always something to be done. It's like just chill for a few minutes. Just, take a bath. Just is like meditate. Just back to the what is your highest frequency that you can be tuning into and maintaining. And again, if you need to opt out of the news cycle for a while, do it.
Yes.
That's not where the real news is coming from anyway. The real news is coming from your inner world and that frequencies that you're tuning into and how you're fine tuning your dial to get the best energy coming in and through and smooth. And forgiving yourself for not being perfect and forgiving others for not being perfect. So that's part of the kind of going with the flow energy.
Exactly. I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, the
It's
other day
really
I
good.
got a preview of a new movie coming out or documentary, however you want to say it, called Zero Limits with Joe Vitale. And
Uh-huh.
we're talking quite a lot about working with the Ho'oponopono forgiveness prayer from the Hawaiian people
Yeah.
and how that can be so life-changing. So to me, that film kind of matches the trajectory of our consciousness shift right now,
Yeah.
with that forgiveness and that flow of energy. And there are no limits. We belief systems place them on us or come from somewhere that is artificial. So,
Yes.
so talk about the activations again. So this whole dynamic, and this is the trajectory of the leading edge of consciousness right now, which is focused on that Pisces compassion and loving all of life and feeling like we're all in this together. The unity consciousness, one level of it anyway. And and Venus is right in the middle here in the sign of Gemini, where she loves it because if there's a paradox, if there's a polarity, like you get in a battery, the positive and negative sides, Venus is the one that can bring them together,
Yeah.
to bring that energy, to plug it in, to harmonize what can seem like opposites. There's going to be something that overcomes that polarity. And that's also in the way that we think about things. And sometimes it's the difference between our head energy and our heart energy. And Venus has a lot to do with our emotional intelligence. So
Right.
she is very active here and is saying, align the higher mind and the lower mind. And the higher mind is like a high, like a higher mind that includes the heart energy. So,
Hmm.
and different perspectives. So this is also Venus and Mars are in this very interesting changeable dance together. So there's a lot of emotional energy here. And this is also, you don't want to have head over body. You don't want to rationalize your experience. So that's part of the Gemini dilemma at times.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is find the harmony between this and that. If you can be thinking both things, there's got to be something that connects them. So, and once you connect them, there's energy behind it. There's like the motor starts, the things click in. So, and this is speaking in harmony, speaking with beautiful words. This is the aesthetics Venus is
Yeah.
in Gemini of how we're communicating and how the heart is speaking.
Yeah, we're definitely in that really big shift at the moment, and the shift is going to give us a glimpse of what Venus represents.
Mm,
And the further we get into this, as time goes on, the more and more the Venus energy, the love energy will take over. And if
mm,
you can be in it right now, then that's absolutely the best case scenario because you'll already be in the future energy. So you're basically pulling it towards yourself and you're attracting it, you're manifesting it in. And that's what we're doing right now is recreating the world.
mm. Yeah, Venus is the magnetic attracting energy, whereas
Yeah.
Mars is more the electrical output, but
Mhm.
they work together, electromagnetics. So this
Yeah.
is a very dynamic electromagnetic situation here.
Hmm. It's beautiful. And it illustrates the masculine and the feminine.
Yes.
And the masculine is going to really start to take a huge part in what is going on. And they have been in some ways, but not emotionally. And I think that's what's going to shift is emotionally they will want to be here for this. And that means they're going to get engaged with the new.
Well, sometimes what Virgo does, like it's like the nurse in the emergency room. Somebody comes in and has been in a horrific accident and is like, oh my God, you could freak out. But the Virgo says, okay, what do we need to do here? Stop the
Yeah.
blood. It's almost like putting the emotions aside for a moment to be effective and to get things done. But that we can't go out like that forever.
No.
Yeah. So, but this is like I don't want to say like know how. I Virgo is very practical. And I don't know, but not, my experience has been that men often will demonstrate their love by, fixing the car or something.
Yeah. So think about it. A whole new world is going to have to be built and recreated. And of course, men are going to want to be involved in that, but they're going to do it from their heart space versus their head space now. And that's going to change everything because we've all been for a long time operating from the head space and we've been learning to how to operate from the heart space. And now that's going to be the main way that we do things. Everything's going to be about conscious business, conscious creation, conscious being aware of what you're actually doing and how it affects other people at the same time that you're being affected by creating it.
This is very interactive energy. And
Yeah.
it's like you said earlier, at the very beginning, you said a lot of women are being born with like a masculine soul or something like that. And
A
and
lot of
so
them have. Yeah. Hmm.
and so then there are the men that have a very like are engaging the feminine aspect and finding that balance. And to me, Virgo is a sign of service. It's like the knight bending the knee to the lady, kind of thing. How can I be of service to you? You know, kind of thing. On a appropriate levels, you know what I mean? There's
Right.
the divine aspect and the spiritual aspect, but then, we are not the Cinderella at somebody else's hearth all the time. So,
No, nobody's a victim here.
yeah,
Yeah. Don't
yeah.
need the white knight. We need a partner. And I think, the masculine partner side is like completely beautiful
Hmm.
because they will do things for you that you may not want to do for yourself as a feminine, but also you will do things for them that they are not necessarily
Yes,
interested in doing as a masculine. So you create a beautiful synergy together.
yeah,
And yeah, everybody has the aspects, both aspects within them,
yes.
but it just, however it shows up, it's beautiful. And we're also going into a time when your divine partner will be your partner. And
Mm.
you'll know who it is because they're the other actual other half of you, and you will enjoy them and understand them and be able to do things with them that are completely different than if you were just dabbling in, oh, he looks cute. Let's just go see if I can have a relationship with them. And we're not going to be trying people on like socks anymore. We're only going to be with our divine partner.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really beautiful. And that's the evolution of relationship. And all the rest of the universe has already gotten to that point. So humanity now is going to move into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a class together. I've given a talk sometimes called Cosmic Couples, which is looking
Mhm.
at Mars and Venus as one cosmic couple, looking at Psyche and Eros that are asteroids on another level, looking at Neptune and Salacia as a different level of cosmic couple. And I'm going to really amplify that material and look at these different levels of relationship that sometimes we can be living at the same time. And some people's charts are more oriented to one kind of relationship or another, where your Venus and Mars are is a different dynamic that somebody else. But you want to have those dynamics in harmony if you're looking for this, if you're looking
Yeah.
for the I don't want to call it standard because there's no standard, that the the masculine and feminine emotional energy, sometimes,
Harmony.
yeah, we learn from each other and sometimes it's from being really different.
Yeah, absolutely. And being okay with that and just working with that. And let us know when your class is like culminated, when you're ready to talk about your class and say, okay, it's time to sign up for this class.
Not until
Because,
I think February. It might be around.
yeah, so let
um,
us know because that's going to be beautiful.
yes, I think
And
on
yeah,
my
I
sure.
love that idea.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah, the different stories.
Hmm.
So, okay. So, and that's part of the creativity. What is stirring your heart with a kind of level of Uranus excitement, new and different? This can be very stimulating. We're not into same old, same old.
No,
There's, you know, Uranus
done
is,
with that.
yeah, no more of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
we'll have time through the fall to kind of, so to speak, catch up with ourselves,
Mhm.
and then, get into the new year and get back moving forward in the 2026, whatever's going on in that year. Yeah.
Amazing. It's going to be an amazing year next year. A lot of activity, but a lot of joy pumped
Mm.
into that activity. Yeah.
Well, joy is Venus. Venus is
Yep.
harmony, aesthetics. It's our, like I said, emotional intelligence. It's our heart, a heartbeat, our
Yeah.
aesthetics, our values. What do we find beautiful? And
Mhm.
appreciating that beauty every single day.
Yeah.
That raises our magnetic attracting energy.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
I
Thank you
think
so much. That feels like the wrap up? Yeah. Oh, I
that,
love that. I love it. And we're really coming into a beautiful time right now, you guys, and it shows in the stars and
yes.
planets. And remember that they are the emotional, the energetic clock, and they're
Ooh,
showing us what is going on. And they're all brothers and sisters, these beings that are brother and sister with Earth, so they're all up here doing things so that we can see what's going on. And I'm just really happy about what's going on right now because we've been really trying to get things to move for a long time and they're moving. And it's because we've done our work. That's why we're here. So,
planets. cycles reflect that.
Yep.
We're in a huge, beautiful choreography of change and newness right now.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll be looking at the full moon before too long too. And that this is a beautiful full moon. Oh my God, it's so special. And that full moon will be on August 9th. So much going on that weekend. Whoa. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we have a beautiful culmination to this like pretty intense new moon, dramatic new moon here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we may be talking about that on a show where we're actually sitting together, which I'm very excited about. So I'm very excited. And we're going to have links below for Kelley and, check her out on Substack and, just enjoy her because she's got a lot of insight into all of this stuff. And I love that you're going to do that class. And I know that you've done a lot of classes and it's brilliant right now what we're all doing for the collective. Yeah,
Yeah. I do still do personal consultations. So if you need, a kind of personal look at things, astrology is so useful.
it
So
is.
yeah, with all the changes going on right now, it's like, whoa.
It's
So
amazing.
yeah.
Mhm. All right. Well, love you guys. And we'll see you at the next moon phase, which is the Earth phase. Okay. Love you. Bye. Thank you, Kelley.